My Lord and my God, I firmly believe that you are here, that you see me, that you hear me. I adore you with profound reverence. I ask your pardon for my sins and the grace to make this time of prayer fruitful. My Immaculate Mother, Saint Joseph, my Father and Lord, my guardian angel, intercede for me. Well, typically, our conversation with you, Jesus, revolves around the Mass reading of the day. Nevertheless, you have made it clear that you are delighted to speak with us about whatever is on our mind. Well, Lord, to put it simply, today let's talk about all the people in my life, in our life, and how you see those relationships. You, the Good Shepherd, you want us to grow in our sense of responsibility for everyone we come in contact with. There is a danger these days, that of isolating ourselves, becoming atomized, so to speak, becoming more of an isolated verse rather than a link in a large chain. A century ago, the actress Greta Garbo became famous for her melancholic persona, her deep, throaty voice, and her line, "I want to be left alone." Well, here we are 100 years later, with the temptation to make those words our theme song. The enemies are all around us. Dads retreat into their man caves. Others in the family isolate themselves in order to be entertained. The result is an atomized style of life. This is not the case in the student residence where I live, mainly because we take meals together. We spend 30 minutes each evening enjoying a raucous get-together. The residents love the atmosphere here, which they refer to as bro culture. By contrast, when other university students stop by for a visit, it is sobering to hear about their living arrangements. Typically, they live in a suite with 4 or 5 roommates. They often tell us that they might see one of their roommates once a week at the most. That's because whenever each one returns to the suite, he or she goes right into their bedroom, closes the door, puts on the earbuds, the noise-canceling earphones. It is a truly lonely existence. A commentator recently made the following jarring observation. Generation Z, or its cousin Generation Z, has landed in a culture that is increasingly atomized and isolated. A book from the year 2000 has a most suggestive title, Bowling Alone. One could almost argue that we are now living in the bowling alone world. Civic engagement has declined. Church affiliation has declined. People simply hang out with one another less, with young adults showing the greatest decrease in socializing. Teens are dating less, spending less time with their friends, making fewer friends to begin with. Jesus, I really want to see my relationships through your eyes. Even now, as I talk things over with you in this time of prayer, faces of my friends, colleagues, and neighbors come to mind. I have to find ways of offering each one of them the precious gift of my friendship. Pope Emeritus Benedict made this point in his encyclical letter, Spe Salvi. No man is an island sufficient unto himself. Our lives are involved with one another. Through innumerable interactions, they are linked together. The lives of others continually spill over into mine, and my life spills over into that of others, for better or for worse. Jesus, open my eyes to this deep reality of my existence. I am indeed a link in an immense chain. Benedict goes on to say, "It is never too late to touch the heart of another, nor is it ever in vain." Well, right there is some homework for us, to bring to mind my people, so to speak, starting with my family members and close friends. How can I go about bonding with them in a more conscious, systematic way? It could be as simple as choosing one or two people during my morning prayer, and then reaching out to them simply to say hello. And here's one for extra credit. Which friends of mine would be eternally grateful if I were to introduce them to 10 minutes with Jesus? What about people I see regularly but don't know? That person I've been seeing at Sunday Mass for years, limiting myself to a polite nod. Okay, that's it. Next Sunday, I will walk up to that person and finally introduce myself. Lord, I have a special request. Teach me how to take better care of my close friends. Let me learn from the following story, told by a 55-year-old, regarding an episode that took place when he was 18. He writes, "The following is one of the worst things I ever did. Late one night, I got a call from a close friend. He said, 'My dad is on the way to the hospital. It's really bad.' His voice was shaking. I was shocked. I did not know what to say. I told my friend that I was so sorry and that I would pray for him, and then I went to sleep. I called my friend the next morning, no answer. I asked around. He was at the hospital. The same pattern repeated for 2 long days. I would call, no answer. He was at the hospital. But I did not go. I remember feeling some irrational confidence that his father would be fine. I remember being busy. I remember feeling not quite prepared to face such pain and loss. Then I got the call. My friend's father had died. I did go to the visitation. I knew at the very least that's what friends do. What happened next is burned into my heart. When I walked in the door, my friend came up to me, looked at me with immense hurt, and said, 'Where were you?' I had no answer then. I have no answer now. I failed. And the older I get, the better I understand the magnitude of my failure. I had violated the first commandment of friendship, presence. Simply being there was all that had been required. I could not pass even that one simple test. Mary, all these people who inhabit my universe are your children. Do not let me be indifferent to any of them. Teach me what it means to be responsible for them with the heart of a good shepherd. I thank you, my God, for the good resolutions, affections, and inspirations that you have communicated to me in this meditation. I ask your help in putting them into effect. My Immaculate Mother, Saint Joseph, my Father and Lord, my guardian angel, intercede for me.